Hi everyone and welcome. I'm DC Gomez and welcome to my home in East Texas. I hope you guys are doing fabulous today. I'm so excited you guys are joining me. So, in case you guys haven't figured out, I'm an indie author. I'm also a coach, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a trainer, but really above all, I'm a dreamer, guys. Which is the reason I started this series. I really wanted to encourage people and motivate people to follow their dreams, to live their best life, and to truly start having fun in their lives and to live the next potential. So this is the reason I started. So today's topic for everyone is persistent. So this is probably not the sexy topic to talk about, but I truly believe persistent is like the secret ingredient for success. Not the one most people think about. So today we want to talk about it. So if you're joining me, go ahead, put some comments, tell me where you're coming from, say hi, let me know you're here, let me know what's on your mind. By the way, at any point in time you have a question, just pop it in, write a comment, let me know so we can go ahead and talk about it. So don't feel that you need to wait for me to have a break. Just tell me, jump in with me, let me know what's going on, what's on your mind. So we're going to start. Let's talk persistent. So persistent is truly what I truly believe is one of those elements that is the key to success. And it is such a huge thing that 75 years ago, when Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich, and I will reference this book a lot because I think it's huge in a lot of development and a lot of people use it still. So when he started, he has a whole chapter on it. So I'm going to give a quick look. So in case you haven't know Think and Grow Rich, what the book really looks like. And by the way, it's tiny. So it's a quick read too. So when he wrote it, he has a whole chapter on it. So one of the things, one of my favorite stories in Napoleon Hill's book is he goes in there and talks about one man. This is 75 years ago, so believe it or not, it's still within the time that the gold rush was a big thing. So we still had gold rush. A city guy decided, I'm going to go to the West and go dig some gold and make myself rich. He got a whole bunch of equipment, borrowed a lot of money, made himself in debt, went out there and spent a year or so digging. He was doing all these amazing things and nothing happened. And like everything else in life, he gave up. He went ahead and sold the equipment, everything he had to a local pawn owner. He went and gave up. He later found out the same pawn owner that he sold everything to went back, same place he was digging, and actually found gold. Biggest thing of gold within a foot of where he was digging. And he literally gave up a foot from gold. So that's kind of the story. So how many times, if you think about it, do we start something? Do we start a project? Do we have something and then we stop and then we kind of give up for whatever reason? A lot of us give up really quickly and we tend to figure out what happened. What is it about it? What is it about persistent that some people we think we have and some people don't? So I truly believe persistent, like your willpower, is a muscle. I think you develop it. I think you get better. And Napoleon Hill has a whole bunch of tips in there to truly help you develop it and actually get, what is persistent and how do we make it part of our lives. So before we go on, by the way, Miss Haiti is on the line. Hi, and you're from Fort Worth. Awesome. How you doing, my friend, buddy? I'm so glad you're joining me. So let me give you some examples since we're talking persistent. And how persistent, I call it my superpower. Everybody might think that's a little crazy. I'm pretty sure if I could have a much more cool superpower, I will. But this is the one I have. So it happened by accident. I can honestly say that to myself. It wasn't something that I intended to do. It wasn't something that I was trying. So for many of you guys have heard, I am from the Dominican Republic. We moved to this country when I was 10 and a half. So at the time I got to Massachusetts, I was full in public school system and I was full in a class. I think it was 5th grade at the time. So I joined this class and let's be honest, I looked completely different. I did not fit in with the standard American class. It's not possible. I just came from another country. I literally had little pigtails and my mom dressed me very typical, all that fun stuff. So this is what ended up happening. Like most kids can be mean. You guys all probably know this. And ruthless. And they were pretty much evil when I was growing up. So I got picked, I got harassed. People made sure to make me know that I wasn't fitting in, that I didn't belong, that I didn't look like one of them, and I didn't sound like one of them. And to make things matter, when people making fun of you, regardless of the language, that. And that's kind of how I felt. So within a month, thank the Lord, somebody actually kind of felt bad and moved me to a different class. But I realized very early on that I did not enjoy that feeling, that I did not enjoy the feeling of being powerless. I didn't enjoy the feeling of not having control. So I made a decision. And in case you're wondering, 10-year-old does not know what persistent is. But at 10-year-old old, I knew very well that I was going to do something to stand out, that I was going to force myself to actually truly show these people that I was not what they said I was. So a lot of my motivation, in case you haven't noticed, my sister-in-law laughs at me, is to prove people wrong or to prove myself that I can do that. So I don't need I don't need an accountability coach. That's not a bad thing. We all do need somebody. I usually, if you tell me, DC, you're not going to do this, I will probably work extra hard just to show you that I can. But that's just me. Everybody doesn't function that way. Everybody doesn't have that. So here's the catch. When you start thinking of persistent, what is persistent? What doesn't make it? So if you guys have read Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, most people don't know his son, also Stephen Covey Jr., wrote a book called The Speed of Trust. In between those two books, they're actually based on self-development. They're also very based for corporate world. You know, you can use it for leadership development, you can use it for group development, but they're very focused on the individual, because if you can work within, you can get anybody else developed. That's kind of where these books are coming from. So here's what they said that I found it very unique of all the writings in Speed of Trust is, how do you build competence? How do you build credibility? So credibility is a huge thing. So put yourself in these shoes. How many times have you said, I'm going to go and lose 10 pounds? It's beginning of the year, I'm going to go gym. I'm going to do, and we have a list of amazing things we're all going to do. How many of those things do you do? Those are the things that build your credibility. Anytime you tell somebody, I'm going to do something or I'm not going to do something, and you follow through, it builds that credibility. It builds that muscle. It builds that thing within yourself and others that you can do. I have a lot of friends that feel extremely guilty. By the way, guilt is a horrible thing to have. It actually eats you from the inside. So if you can avoid it, please do. But guilt is one of those things that is built also on things that we say we're going to do and we don't. Or that we say we're not and we do. So whichever way you want to look at it. So when you're thinking about it, a lot of the things that you're going is, what did you commit yourself to doing? Did you carry it through? Did you follow through? Or did you stop midway? What happened? Sometimes what I find out, a lot of the times we commit to doing things and they're huge, my friends. They're absolutely huge. We are trying to boil the ocean. Let's be realistic. Sometimes some things are a little bit more outside of the scope. Let's bring it back. So before we go on, so I want to say hi to Sonia from Atlanta and IC Joe who are joining us. I want to say, so if you're here, give me a shout out, tell me what you think. So I'm talking persistence right now because that's definitely my superpower. While we're talking about this, put in the comments, because I know IC said you're still working on something. Tell me what your superpower is. So let's take a minute, think about it, process this. Tell me, what is it, the one thing that you do that you're absolutely, my friends, no, this is you. So I have some family members, their superpower is napping. Like, they can nap like no others. I don't know how they do this. I have some that is just truly, like, my dad is gifted in so many different ways. But everybody has something that you're good at, you know. So Sonia, you're telling me you start things midway and you stop. Things get a little tough. I have a couple of stories that I hope that can help you. So, persistent. The very first person in my life who told me that I was a persistent person was my brother Miguel. So, disclaimer before I go on. I have 2 amazing brothers, and they're officially my life and joy. They're amazing. We have supported each other through many things. They're now grown adults, but they're also the most brutally honest people in my life. These 2 young men are officially going to crush anything that needs to be crushed while they still build me up. So this is what Miguel told me a few years ago that is still stuck in my head. And I don't know how the conversation happened. So like many things in life, you might not remember people say that you do remember how they made you feel. Like my little bullies in school, I still remember how they made me feel. I have no idea who any of these kids are. If I saw them, I couldn't tell you if they were in that class, but I still remember those feelings. So feelings are important. Sometimes they're not based on facts, as I've been told before, but they're still part of who we are. So Miguel said this to me, which I'm to this day, I'm like, oh my God. He goes, I'm not sure if you have any talent. Ouch. Thanks, brother. He goes, but you are persistent. So that stuck with me. So he recognized really, really well on that literally I was a very persistent person and that I was willing to commit. My mom has said the same things. You know, I've come up with amazing, huge ideas and I'm going, you never question it. And my mother's like, that's because you said you're going to do it. I know you are. So that's something that people can count on. It might not be the wisest things because some of my ideas are off the wall, but they still believe it. They still follow through. So that's kind of thing. So superpowers, yes, organizing and crafting is a superpower, because I know people that can't organize their own bathroom. So organizing is a superpower. Crafting it is too. I think I'm a very creative person, I see, Joe. Crafting might be my thing. I love buying craft supplies. I think that's a skill. Has nothing to do with using it. Please do not get them mixed up. Those two things are very different. My sister-in-law and I joke about it. Two separate things. But yes, I think those are very much is the things that you can count on that you do really well, that you come to it with. So Miguel says I'm very persistent. Most people in my life truly can say, okay, you are persistent, you can follow through. But here's the thing. We're all very good starting things, I think. My dad says, believe it or not, and I have tons of quote about my family, so I hope you guys don't mind. So my dad always says, sometimes the hardest thing for us to do is to start. I agree. For some things in our life, starting is very, very difficult. But what happens after you pass the starting point? What happens once you get started? Starting in the first 6 months is almost like dating. You know, if you ever start dating somebody new, it's like those butterflies in your stomach, and you get all excited and you get all happy. And I'm calling it meeting your representative. Sometimes it's the best version of them. Everything goes great, and within 6 months you find out the real person, and then you're going, then you have to weigh the options. That's usually what happens when it comes to persistent. It's coming to starting. You know, you get very good at getting started. Everything goes well, but then you have life happens and little things happen. So usually what I find out with people, is we start things and we leave them half done. We always have, there's some what we call barriers, and Napoleon Hill has tons of them that he talks about. Some of the barriers is criticism. We're afraid of what people are going to say. We're truly afraid of what our friends are going to say. And one of the things that I find out really well is that people believe I'm not creative enough, or I'm not good enough, or I am, and we can fill in the blanks. Here's what my dad says, which I found very amusing and very refreshing for me. So he said one day, you can always find 500 people. They're better than I am. They're smarter than I am. They're more handsome. They're fill in the blanks. The one thing you're never going to find is another one like me. So here's, and all of my friends have stole this one, so please take this one, run with it. You're going to always have somebody out there that is more talented, more creative, more blah, 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 blah. We can fill in the blanks. But nobody's going to be like you. There is not a unique thought in this world anymore. Humanity has been around for thousands of years. So if you're not sure where I'm going with this, I'm going to show you this, my friends. So bear with me. So we talked about humanity, where we've been. Let's look at these examples. You know, before the Wright brothers flew the first airplane, Leonardo da Vinci, 1488, actually drew the first flying machine. So can you imagine that? 500 years before men actually started flying planes, somebody already had the idea, hey, what if we created a machine that made men able to fly? So if you're ever wondering, should I start a business? Should I start a career? Should I start a creative project? Well, I can't, because it's been done before. Probably 90%, 99% of everything you can imagine has been done before. What hasn't been done is your unique take on it, is that power that you bring to the table, is your experiences, is your history, is your background. Nothing that has happened to you, my friends, has been lost. Somebody asked me way back, don't you feel bad? You went to film school, now you're in the military. Don't you feel that you wasted those years? And it kind of hurt, because at the same time, I was like, oh, what does that mean? And then I had to realize everything we are and who we are and how we see the world is filtered through the lenses of our past and where we come from, for good or for bad. So that knowledge and those skills are never lost. They just transmitted and created into a different world. So it's never lost. So whatever your testimony, whether it's good or bad, those things always come back. So I like this one. He says, your superpower is making people feel good. Believe it or not, that is huge. And many people don't actually believe that they deserve to feel good about themselves, which is the reason that I think persistence comes into play. We don't believe or think we deserve to be happy. We don't believe or think we deserve these things. You know, my brother calls it, you know, the cosmic guilt. A lot of people have this guilt within themselves that they think, based on what happened to me or my background, I don't deserve these things. I don't think that's true. I truly don't believe anybody was put on this earth not to feel good about themselves, not to grow, not to evolve, not to live to their less potential, which is why we're here. So if you can make somebody else feel good about themselves, that is a huge gift. So thank you, Sonia, for sharing. But can you also make yourself feel good? Is that an equal balance? Because it has to be. It has to be a give and take. So here's my thing. We all know we gotta persist. Sounds great. We all know we gotta start. Sounds great. What happens when you're moving along? This is my little imitation of a train, in case you wonder what I'm doing. Everything's going smoothly. At least you think everything's going smoothly. Everything's going according to plan, my friends. And somebody just throws a monkey wrench into your life and all things come to a stop. What do? How do you persist? How do you continue? How do you move on when somebody tells you that your baby is not as pretty as you think? So that happened to me. And let me give you an example of why it hurt. So this intern came out. First book, I'm an indie author, in case you're wondering. Indie, it means independent. It means you are everything. Not only are you the writer, you're also the person hiring cover designers. You're putting the money, the sweat, the tears into everything. This is all you. There is nobody else backing you up. So this intern comes out. I'm finally getting over the fears. I'm working with my fears like we talked last week. I'm promoting, I'm talking about this. I'm excited. I think I can do this. So I contact an organization, which by the way, we're good friends now, so hope you don't mind. And my question came back, hey, can you help me promote my books? So he did an analysis and came back, well, you're not technically qualified. This is what he said. But by the way, yeah, your cover, not that good. Okay, this is like somebody literally looking at you going, your kid is ugly. What are you gonna do? I was shattered. I cried. By the way, this book I have submitted for a competition and have won an honorable mention in the independent awards. I thought it was doing great. This little boy comes back and tells me, your cover sucks. And it took a minute for me to rationalize. My mom says you get 2 days of pity party. Whatever happens in your life, you get 2 days. Took me at least 2.5 days to get over the fact and the shock that somebody said it didn't work. So here's the part. At some point in time, you have committed a lot of time and effort and money, a lot of energy, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears to a project. And somebody comes back and hits you with a blow. And somebody tells you your efforts are not good enough or you didn't do good enough. What do? How do you swallow that pride? Because I had to. I literally had to swallow some pride and truly figured out what he meant by that and kind of dissect that. So I'm going to show you what ended up happening. When we started out, I had my original cover. So here's the first one. And if you have read This Intern, most people connected with the first one, primarily because they saw Isis in that picture and I loved it. Here's the one that he sent me, because yes, my friends, it wasn't good enough for him to tell me that my cover sucked. He actually sent me a picture of one that could be better. And I was like, the nerve of this kid. Are you serious? If he wasn't in England, I was probably going to find him and have a conversation with this boy. I was that serious. But here's what I had to realize. And after I started talking to people, I swallowed my pride, got off my high horse, and literally asked them questions like, what does my first cover convey? As much as I loved it, here's the reality, if I'm going to put it back up. Most people, when they saw my first cover, they thought romance novel. They thought, Twilight. They were thinking all these different things that actually doesn't relate to my genre. So for you guys who read it, This Intern is an action-packed, literally urban fantasy. There's no romance. Like every time I try to send Isis on a date, it goes bad. So we have very little romance. There's a lot more action. There's no horror. That's what most people thought. It is still called This Intern, so I have to deal with that. But it's more action. There's a lot of comedy. There is a dark humor. There's all these things. I had to swallow some pride, my friends. I had to seriously come to terms with the fact that somebody said, your master plan did not work. And then I had to decide, what does that mean? I have invested all this time. At this point in time, we had 2 books already with similar covers, not the same girl, there's different things. What was I supposed to do? What was I seriously going to do? Do I give up now? What do we do? Because it's easy to give up, my friends. It's easy to stop midway through. Somebody told me this, and this quote that I actually love. They asked him, so how long are you staying in this business? And he looked at them and said, till it makes it. That is a life commitment. That is not just saying, I'm here for 30 days. So think back. Every time we have New Year's resolution, we always say we're going to the gym. That seems to be the big one, or we're going to lose some weight. And we always commit for about 30 days. And 30 days is a really good magic number if you've never done something before, if you're trying to start out. It gets your body going. It helps you to start building some habits. It's a good way to start transitioning. The problem that we do, because we're human, let's be honest, we commit to 30 days. And if in 30 days the magic hasn't happened, or like most of us, the excitement has fallen away. So we start with this amazing idea, we commit, and somewhere between 15 to 30 days, it becomes ordinary. We get tired, or we get bored, or we just don't have the same energy, or even more. The people in our lives are not as excited as we are. The people who are trying to build are not nearly as committed as we are, or they're not nearly as excited. This is not their dream. Those 30 days, we tend to fall off, and becomes one of those things of, what do we do? What exactly do we move from here, my friends? So this is the really hard part. It is building that muscle within ourselves. It is building that muscle that says, I can do this and overcome the adversities. I can do this because I believe in myself, because I'm truly believe that this dreams mean something. So there's a couple of things to really be realistic about it, my friends. Is one of the things we have to understand, what does this dream mean? Is it your passion? Is it something that you want to do? What is it? What does it actually involve? I'm perfectly aware of what it takes to get a six-pack. I know the exercise routines. I know the eating habits. I know the calorie count. I know every single thing that it would take for me to get a six-pack. I also know I'm not going to get a six-pack. Why? That is not my passion. As exciting as it sounds, and let's be honest, everybody says, I want a flat stomach, I want all this. I am not committed to doing that. That's not that exciting to me. I could use my time and energy in doing something else. So I have given that up. I don't even try. I was like, I need to be healthy. I know I have hormonal issues, so I need to watch my weight. I need to watch what comes into my body. I'm very conscious of that. Am I going to commit time and energy to get a six-pack? No. So I have made a decision. I'm very good at knowing, where am I at now? I'm not going to commit to something that it doesn't really going to matter. Weight is going to be a number. Not to mention, I have given divorce papers to my scale on multiple occasions. Do I really want to commit that much effort to my scale? Then I might get mad at you and not talk to you for 6 months? No. So when we're looking at, what are we committing? Is it a dream that actually matters to you? You know, is it that idea that as much as you push it back and you close your eyes and please go away, 6 months from now it's still there? Is it that feeling that you have that this makes a difference? Is it things that wakes you up at night? If this is the ideas you're feeling, then this is the stuff that you want to pursue. This is the things you want to chase. These are the goals you want to continue. And these are the things you're going to persist. But it has to have a meaning, and it has to become your absolute obsession. You have to be able to understand it, but you have to know the why. The next thing you also have to be is realistic, my friends. Do you have a plan to get there? And I talk about plans all the time. I talk about writing things down. Anything you don't write down becomes a wish list. Let's be honest. You're not going to execute it. But do you have so many things in your wish list that you're overwhelmed? Too many goals is just as bad as not enough, believe it or not. You know, so next week we're going to talk about goal settings. We're going to talk about trying to break it down. So what do you do when you're trying to persist? How do you commit yourselves? Things that you have to look at is, can you overcome criticism? There's people in your life that are not going to like the things that you're doing. They're not going to agree with you. They're not going to see it. And to some extent, they might even shame you. It's tribal shame. A lot of the people that might come with advice might seem like great advice because they're trying to protect you. They don't want you to get hurt. They don't want you to dream too big, because what happens if it doesn't come true? What happens if you never follow through and you live your life miserable because you never pursued this dream? Those things, that's just as bad. But are your goals realistic? You know, are you saying, I'm going to go ahead and write a book? Sounds great. What is your plan? How many words are you going to write a day? What are you going to do? What are the little steps that's going to take you to the next place? Because boiling the ocean, my friends, is not going to work. Let's be honest about it. So I committed to changing my cover, right? And I talked to this little young man. Here's what ended up happening, because once I decided, okay, you might have a point, I don't like it, we ended up changing every cover. So this series has 5 books. So this is what the entire series looks like now. I had to admit it. He had a point. I had to commit to the fact that it didn't match what I originally thought. I have to be very comfortable in changing the plan. So here's the thing, my friends. Your goal doesn't change. Your focus doesn't change. Your mission doesn't change. But when somebody throws little monkey wrenches at you, be aware, my friends. This is the fun part about it, is you can change the plan. Do not commit to your plan. Sometimes you have to murder the plan to continue to achieve your goal. If it doesn't work and somebody tells you the cover doesn't work and it doesn't look good, change the cover. It will be okay. If the business plan that you created for this amazing new organization you have in mind doesn't work, change the plan. Keep your dream alive. Nourish your dream. It is okay. But also decide that you're committing. You're committing to whatever this might be and whatever your future might be, because you deserve it and you're worth it. Sometimes we let everybody else tell us, good or bad, what we're supposed to do, how much we can do, and how capable are we to do it. We have a lot of people that have amazing ideas. Those ideas might not be for you. So can you overcome the barriers of criticism? Can you overcome the barriers of what people are going to tell you? Can you start making little small commitments with yourself? Today, pick something. I follow what I call the 15-minute rule. And it's literally easiest way, because it's easy for me to have so much going on that I can become overwhelmed. Trust me, I'm an overachiever. I am great at overcommitting to myself. This is what I've done, my friends. I said 15 minutes, I can do anything for 15 minutes. So can you. So dishes in the sink, I'll give you 15 minutes. Whatever I get done now is going to get done in 15 minutes. I'll come back later for the rest. Check. Here's what I've done. Exercising. I broke it down into 15 minutes. Why? Because when you're thinking about giving something an hour is a lot of time, my friends. You think I could be doing so much other stuff. We get an hour? You can do 15 minutes. 15 is easy. And you can break it up. You can break your goals and your dreams into small little ones. Small little things that can help you get there without stressing yourself. And hopefully taking some away the guilt. Let's get rid of this guilt. Everybody has tons of guilt. It is probably the things that is keeping us hold backing a lot of things. So tell me, my friends, we talked about superpowers. What is your superpowers? We talked about persistent. What makes you keep going? Tell me what your dreams are. What do you need motivation? What do you need some encouragement? I'm here. Send me a note. Let me know what you're focusing on. Let me know where you need some help so we can talk about it, so we can get you there. You don't have to post it here. You can send me an individual one. That's okay. It doesn't have to be public knowledge. That's perfectly okay. But I want to be able to say, how do we help you? You know, I woke up that day. So I like that you're telling us I was going to go for a run, Sonia. Believe it or not, I used to be a huge runner. Love being the outside. I got 2 years ago crazy skin disease and I'm allergic to the sun. I am the palest Dominican girl you're ever going to find. My parents laugh at me. They're like, what is happening? So some things have to compromise. So you might not be able to do a full run. We have a lot going on. Our lives are busy. But can you do a 10-minute down the block and come back? This is what I'm going to challenge you guys. Can you commit to 15 minutes of something? And it has to be for you. It can't be something you're doing for somebody else. I know you want to help everybody. This is not what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to think of yourself. What is that one dream? Oh, don't be sorry, honey. I am officially used to. Like, don't feel bad. I'm used to the crazy things. If anybody can pick up a disease, is me. The one thing I do is disease come and go. It does not claim who I am. So don't worry about it. I do miss the sun most of the time. So I try to cheat every once in a while. So huge things. What is it that you're going to do for you? What are you going to do to truly start living your best life now? What are you going to do to build your persistent muscle? So hey, huge shout out for my cousin from Salem. Love you, honey. Ramon is visiting. Happy. So we got people from across the country, which is awesome, exciting. So what are you guys going to do? We talked about a lot in terms of what are we going to do to achieve? How are we going to persist? Here's what I want you guys to remember. Here is my little picture for the day. It took humanity almost 500 years, 400 give or take, for us to be able to seriously fly a plane. It took less than 100 years to get a man on the moon. So believe it or not, while it might seem huge and your goals might seem immense, they're not. You can do this. You can truly commit to yourself to say, I'm going to go ahead and do something for myself. Last week, IC Jo said she wanted to be a librarian and go back to school. Step 1, research what it takes to go back to school. Step 2, sign up for a class. It doesn't have to be huge, my friends. Don't boil the ocean. But what are you going to do for yourself to build your credibility within yourself? Forget everybody else. Don't worry about what anybody else is thinking. What are you going to do to build that muscle? Persistence is a muscle. How are you going to build your credibility with yourself? If you're going to say, I'm going to go lose some weight, please decide you're going to lose 5 pounds. Don't commit to 40. 40 is a huge number. Don't do that. Commit to simple, small goals. Commit to something that actually matters to you. Commit to something that's going to make you smile. And go back. If you're wondering, this is the catch. How is it going to help you? Look at your life 3-5 years ago. What is the couple things, 1 or 2 things you did that you completed recently, that you did, that you know, hey, I said I was going to do this and I did it. Take that segment, take that moment in your life and figure out what it was, what it meant to you, what it was about it that made you complete it, and then figure it out, why was it important? If you're able to figure out why you were able to do it in other parts, you can translate it to anything else in your life because you have success. We just want to replicate it. We just want to be able to continue and bring it forth. So my friends, I'm absolutely so excited you guys are joining me. Huge thanks. Hey, Yvonne has joined us also from Salem, so I am amazing. So 2 half marathons, Miss Sonia, is that what your goal is? Is that what you have done? Because by the way, 2 half marathons is huge. You're looking at literally 13 miles that you have done. That is amazing. What is it that you guys are doing? Put me some notes, send me some quotes. Let me know what you guys have done that build those muscles, and then let me know what is it you're going to do next to continue to build it. So we're here to build each other up. We're here to continue to dream and truly live the next life better because we can. Sometimes we forget that we're able to. We weren't sent here to suffer. Awesome. So congratulations. You're going to have to give me some tips. I'm a little slow on my running, so I might have to hit you up with some running tips again. So tell me, my friends, getting ready to sign out. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being amazing, for dreaming, for not giving up. Let's live your next life better. Let's continue to get there. Let's build those persistence muscles and keep me informed. I want to know what you guys are doing. So unless you guys have some amazing, sending you lots of blessings, an amazing day. And thank you. Have a happy Saturday, everyone.